One of the most important things you are going to pack for your upcoming photo safari is the glass that you take to the remote corner of Africa you'll be visiting. These lenses are going to be the cornerstone of your imagery and, of course, your creativity on your photo safari. I'm Darren Donovan, a C4 Photo Safaris photo guide and host, and today I'm going to talk about the 3 lenses that I always pack in my camera for every safari I host. Today I'm coming to you from Chikunta Safari Lodge in the incredible South Luangwa National Park in Zambia. And let me tell you, it's been a while since I've salivated like this because of the sheer photographic possibilities that Danielle and I have experienced over the last few days. So I approach any safari with 3 lenses that allow me to deal with any scene and essentially get 3 different results. Firstly though, let me explain what I look for in a lens and why. The most important factor that I consider is the maximum aperture of the lens. All my lenses are f2.8 and that allow me to photograph in very low light conditions, which is something that any wildlife photographer needs to take into consideration. So if it's at all possible, try and get these lenses as it gives you the slight edge at conquering the light question. I also want 3 lenses that will give 3 different focal lengths. There's really no point in having overlapping focal lengths. My approach is to have 1 long lens, 1 medium lens, and a wide angle lens. In my bag, I have the 400mm 2.8, it's 70 to 200 2.8, and the 15mm f2.8 wide angle lens. Now the reality is that I'm not always going to use all 3 lenses in a sighting, but at least I have the choice to start with. My go-to lens in most sighting is my long lens, the 400mm. And I would say around 90% of the time, it's the lens that I use. It's fast, it's sharp, and has the most incredible bokeh. Generally, on a photographic vehicle, you'll stop a little further away from your subject because this forces you to lift the lens instead of snapping away with the ground as a background. So your backgrounds are much better and your subject pops a little better. And that's where the 400mm comes into its own. It's a heavy lens though, and you're stuck at 400mm as a focal length. But those are the only 2 drawbacks on this lens. Its low light capabilities and general performance outweigh the cons pretty quickly. The 400mm also gives you enough zoom to focus on bird photography as well. And the speed of focus and focal length make this an ideal lens for bird photography. My 70 to 200 is probably the least used lens in my bag. However, I will use this lens to get a wider view of my subject. So it's a really strong lens for animals in their environment. But where I use this lens the most is when I'm hosting in Uganda. It's significantly lighter than a 400, so the real winner is when you're tracking through the Albertine forests in search of chimps and gorillas. In Uganda, you get so close to the primates that anything longer than 200mm is total overkill anyway. Getting portraits of the primates is really easy with a 70 to 200, but it's the f2.8 aperture that's the winner here. The light under the forest canopy can be really dark, so having this lens that can deal with the low light is a must for Uganda. Lastly, we get the 15mm f2.8. It's a fantastic lens for landscapes, astroscapes, and getting an even wider shot of animals in their environments. However, it is also my favorite lens for photographing insects. I often use the 15mm when I'm in the hides in Mashatu, especially when the elephants are around and the wider angle really gets a sense of what's happening around the hide. Some of the most powerful wildlife images in the world have been taken with wide angle lenses, with the subject close to the photographer. And that's the rule with the wide angle. Photograph wildlife wide, but close. Again, I want the low light capabilities of the f2.8 with the 15mm, particularly for the astroscapes. It just allows so much light onto the sensor, which is exactly what you need for a good star shot. So those are my 3 go-to lenses for any safari. Please leave a comment in the comment section and let me know what your favorite lens is. I'd love to hear your views and perspectives on this. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. It's been a really fun video to present to you all, and until the next video, have fun photographing.